The pain of waiting for two halves of what used to be a whole podcast each week can be a devastating thing, especially when one of the days that week is marred by dreams of your horrid failures.
In the night speeds toward the dawn beam, time to head for golden light. For that great taste, yeah, it's my morning place. McDonald's for breakfast, you are beautiful. Hey, it's a beautiful morning.
The Dick Show and Maddox vs. Maddox, Episode 2. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the second episodes of Dick and Maddox's new half-baked podcasts. But there is a surprising contrast here compared to last time. Let's start with Dick, since that's the order I drew the pictures in. Dick had on Larry Blydner, a guy who wrote a book on being a dad. How appropriate, since that was the last episode before Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way, everyone. I have given you the gift of a new video. Dick started off with some talk about the politics of Islam, and it was excellent. However, the rest of the episode wasn't always as excellent. This show is perhaps too reliant on its hosts, and neither host so far has truly been a rage. Larry has one sexy voice, but he was kind of dull to listen to. It was basically just him talking about stuff. Some of it was alright. It's usually interesting to hear parents talk about their kids, for example, and this was no exception. But a lot of it droned on too much without major punchlines, even if some of the stuff he had to say was thought-provoking and sometimes relatable and accurate. One thing I particularly disliked was his talk about how some parents were dressing up on Halloween. Although his story about the whole stranger danger BS that some of those LA parents were going with was funny to balance that out. But when I think about this complaint about the parents dressing up on Halloween, I believe it may be a Dick versus Dick. I was trying to research this by looking at the Biggest Problem in the Universe website, but then I found out that Maddox went and deleted it. So I wasn't really able to. But I believe that Dick and Maddox both agreed on Biggest Problem in the Universe that people who don't dress up on Halloween are lame. And Dick didn't seem to challenge Larry about that at all. The episode was basically bookended, though, by Dickie goodness, as Dick finished it off with a story in the vein of Biggest Problem, where he talked about a big problem. And that problem was something about package delivery. Some of the things that can go wrong during it. So, if you only want to listen to some of the Dick episode this week, listen to the beginning and the end. Now, let's go on to Old Madoff. Madoff's show actually lived up to its premise this time, and because he's a cuck who constantly sweats the length of podcast episodes, his was less than an hour long this week, and Dick's episode unfortunately wasn't that much longer either. This compounds the pain of no more Biggest Problem, rubbing salt in the wounds left upon us by the darker times of the show after the hosts started being too wary of how long the episodes were running. But anyway, this time he had Rucka Rucka Ali on as a moderator to hit that buzzer and call Madoff off on his fallacies. And Rucka proceeded to just hit the buzzer whenever he felt like it, and it was hilarious. Maddox debated himself on the issue of assisted suicide, and it was actually pretty good. He did in fact debate both sides of the issue pretty effectively, and in I guess about the last third, he pulls out a pretty big surprise. We also hear some pretty great voicemails at the end. Thanks to actually executing the premise this time, making good points and keeping it engaging and interesting, Madoff's performance this time was pretty solid. It was too short, but Sean and Rucka made it funny as well, so overall, good episode. Rucka's a friend of the channel, by the way. Dude can take criticism like a total G. One time on a Madoff Twitch stream, Rucka was there. I was roasting the crap out of him, but he still shouted out my channel in spite of that. Cool guy. Check him out. I have decided to make it a contest each week like a true dickhead should, and award a point each week to whomever had the better podcast that week. Last week, it was most definitely Dick, but this week, I reluctantly award the point to Maddox. The score is currently tied at 1-1. This was shorter than I expected. Like the podcast this week, so I guess it's appropriate. Thanks for watching, my fellow dickheads, and the 5 of you who are still Maddox heads. I'm so thankful for your support. Speaking of support, sorry about this, but I have got to mention my freshly revamped Patreon page. It's now really easy to get rewards for throwing me any sort of bone whatsoever, so please consider it. And as always, please remember to keep that ad block turned off on YouTube and click on some ads on your favorite creators' stuff, because your favorite creators need that cash. And hey, feel free to talk to me on the fairly new King Critic forum or add me on one of these 2 mobile phone thingies. Let me know in the comments what you think about the new music, the new visuals, everything about this video. And hey, maybe check out some of my stuff if you're new. Have a good one.